Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Sabrina Daly.
And I'm Asana Cayetano. Good morning.
And it's a lovely Wednesday morning.
Yes, Sabrina.
How's everything going, Isani?
Man, so far so good. For me personally, my daughter is nearing the end of her primary school years.
Aww.
And so it's an exciting time for my family as she gets ready for graduation.
Wow.
And so I think mentally and emotionally that's consuming a lot of my, being, considering the fact that it's such an achievement.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, she's on pace to becoming the valedictorian for her school. And I'm hoping that this comes to fruition for her. Every effort has been expended in terms of her academic performance.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's an exciting time.
Yeah,
It's
well,
an exciting
congratulations to, everyone, because that's not only an achievement for herself, but as I mentioned yesterday, graduation season is a celebration for all parties, the institution, the graduate, as well as the family. So I know that you must feel super proud yourself.
Yeah. On the downside,
Uh-huh.
it's a significant marker that I'm getting old.
No, definitely. That's
when
something.
when I look at the 13 years, since my daughter came around and what we've been able to achieve in that time, yeah, I'm getting up there.
No, I mean, that's something that I think children a lot of times, and of course we don't expect them to always be thinking that deep. But I saw this video of this younger person that turned like 20 something. And of course, we're celebrating our 20s, but a lot of times we have to remember that that's also 20 something years added to your parent as well. And it really puts a whole different perspective,
Yeah.
on life in general, because it makes you, think about your parents and how long you'll have them. Not saying you're dying anytime soon, Isani, but you know exactly what I mean. So I think it's a moment to reflect for both persons.
Yeah.
Even when we're celebrating, the firstborn's birthday, it's also, if that's your firstborn,
Yeah,
your
she's
daughter is
my
your firstborn.
firstborn,
So her birthday is kind of like your fatherhood day too, the inaugural
I look at it as
step into fatherhood.
Yeah, I look at it as a measure of maturity
Yeah.
in terms of being actively involved and being there. And I'm also saying that too because we're in the month of fathers. So
Yes.
let me champion all the fathers who are there, who remain there through the thick and thin, for the purpose of being an integral part of their children's lives.
Yeah.
I look at my kids every day and I realize above everything else, they need a father, and when I look at what I've been able to do versus friends of mine, family members, acquaintances who have, for whatever reason, decided to walk away, while for me, it's a significant achievement, not to say that there haven't been challenges along the way. No road is perfectly smooth. But being there and being able to see their development and their growth through childhood, it's a significant thing.
Yeah, and the significance is for both sides as well. And I will say, Isani, we constantly push the idea of the importance of having a mother, but it's also so important to have a father.
Yeah.
And during Father's Day, the dads always say that they're under celebrated. So I'll use this opportunity to, really give you guys your flowers, the good guys as well, or especially during this time, since it's their month, you know?
The only complaint I had was last Monday. Paul joined me on the set, and we were talking about the idea of dads and grads. They should be separated.
Yeah.
Because while I could celebrate my kids' accomplishments, I should be able to enjoy that day away from everything else and have the spotlight on me. And I'm almost certain that other fathers feel the same way.
Definitely. That's
Yeah.
like if your birthday falls on Christmas.
Yeah.
No, man. 2 different days. I want 2 gifts. No, I
Definitely.
absolutely agree with you. You guys deserve to get your recognition separately because of the work that you do. There's equal importance when it comes to parenting as it relates to fathers and mothers. And I mean, persons that did not grow up with a father figure or a father in their life, I'm sure they can tell the difference versus the ones that did. So I have to say to the good fathers there, you know, we give you your flowers and we acknowledge you. We had Dara on set yesterday talking about his experience as a father.
My
And
friend
that
had on his
was-
cowboy hat. I was hung up at that part.
No, he was giving a lot of information. We had to tell him, oh, Rick, tone it down. But I love it. I love the honesty, and I love when we're able to have these conversations and just be honest of your role as a dad, you know,
Yeah.
and even yourself, because you always talk about your family, and it's a conversation that I think as men, you know, you guys should have more often, because a lot of times I think the general public feels that there are more absentee fathers than actually fathers doing, you know, their jobs.
I'm not sure if that is statistically so. I'm not even going to where
Yeah.
figures are concerned. But I'm simply saying that, you know, the role of parenthood, and it extends beyond motherhood or fatherhood, it's a joint thing, right? To be able to provide stability in a child's life. Without stability, anything can go wrong in terms of the child's outlook on life and so on and so forth. So to be able to provide a sense of stability, they don't have to worry about bills or food or whatsoever. They just have to, at that formative age, just perform,
Yeah.
you know. Whether they're into sports or into academics, that's their time to be able to blossom.
Yeah.
So yeah, stability is
You know
important.
what's really great about what we offer here at Open Your Eyes is, for instance, for Mother's Day, we had an opportunity to sit with moms and their kids. And I know that we'll be doing something very similar for Father's Day. So I'm really looking forward to those conversations that we'll be having.
Perfect.
Yes. All right. So into other topics that are buzzing, we had a really interesting story that kind of marries other news online, and that's Bolito versus Fantasy 5 and everything, you know,
Yeah.
related to the games.
Well, it was announced yesterday that the license for Pick 3 and Fantasy 5 will not be renewed going forward. So it's an essential cancellation of these games of chances that Belizeans are equally excited about as they were about Bolito. So while Bolito is coming back in another iteration, well, we don't know what the future is for Pick 3 and Fantasy 5. We don't know if at some point the company will comply and then be given back its license, or that's sayonara forever, so to speak. What I can tell you, Sabrina, is that Belizeans at this point are looking for alternate games of chance.
Yeah.
So while Bolito is on hold for the time being, they've gravitated to Scratch and Win, Mega Bingo. Perhaps they were all the way with Pick 3 and Fantasy 5 as well. And so now this removes 2 other games of chance from that palette, in a manner of speaking. So their options are now severely limited.
Yeah, you'll
And
definitely.
so the chatter, yes, you've been hearing people talk about, okay, so what are we going to do next? Or why is government taking away all of these, you know, contracts or these licenses, and then we, the gaming public, are the ones who are taking the lick?
Yeah, I mean, well, a lot of people really enjoy Scratch and Win, and we've always, you know, shared winnings of persons that were able to, you know,
Yeah.
secure their luck with a scratch and win ticket. So we'll see what happens. I definitely know that people are talking about not having Fantasy 5. That was always something that everyone wanted to win. Fantasy 5 had big wins.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe they had just announced a $300,000 winner last week or sometime fairly recently. So if there was any optimism about, you know, playing Fantasy 5 as an option to Bolido, then, well, June 8th, I'm being made to understand, will be the final date, which is today, right? Today is June 8th.
7th. Today is the 7th.
It's tomorrow. June 8th should be the final draw, and then, well, regrettably, that will be that, no?
Yeah, well, something else, yeah, half a do play pity pot or something. No, but that's definitely one of the topics that has been buzzing online, and you know, we will be seeing what will be taking place as it relates to the government Bolido. But we're going to go into the weather, what we can expect today. Of course, we've been talking about it this morning before the show started. I took my drive here to work, and the sun was red, and the sun was big. I don't know, but it looks like we will be getting a hot day. Of course, we will be learning more from the National Meteorological Service. But Isani, we've been enjoying cooler weather yesterday. I don't know if it's promised for the end of the week. We'll find out more from the National Meteorological Service, but yeah, I think it's going to be a warmer day. I feel.
Well, last night was fairly cool. I won't complain. As you said earlier, when you compare it to previous days, last week, over the weekend, these past few days have been relatively cool.
Yes. You know? So we have the National Meteorological Service with us on the line, and that is forecaster Francisca Wellington. Good morning.
Good morning. You have any coffee or Johnny cake there for me?
Not even for me.
Oh my.
We are running on what we woke up with. But hopefully after. We'll send you some after.
Okay.
All right, so what can we expect as it relates to the weather this morning?
Okay, guys. Well, the rain is gone for now. So for the next 24 to 48 hours, Wednesday and Thursday, we'll see sunny skies during the daytime, clear to partly cloud skies at night, and showers or thunderstorms, if any, will be isolated.
All right, and that extends through to the entire day, the 24-hour forecast?
That's right.
All right. Well, in terms of temperatures, what can we expect?
Okay, not as bad as the last few days. So along the coast, we're seeing 88 Fahrenheit. In the mountains, 81, and inland, 95.
All right. And do you guys have an outlook through to the end of the week?
Yes, I'm seeing similar weather conditions that I described earlier. Isolated showers or thunderstorms, if any at all.
All right. Any advisories, watches, or warnings?
Okay, we have the Sargassum forecast, and this forecast continues to say that we have a medium to high chance that we'll continue to see these mats affecting coastal communities. Okay. And then we have the tropical weather outlook. Good news at this time. We don't see any formation during the next 48 hours.
All right. Do you guys, I mean, we're in the hurricane season. Is there any storms developing outside? I see we have something there close to Cuba. Should we be looking out for anything?
No, at this time, that shows no sign of development.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, Forecaster Wellington. We appreciate the information as always. And we'll see you again tomorrow. We'll talk again tomorrow.
You're welcome, guys. Have a great day.
Take care.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
The rains are gone, she says.
The rains are gone, but it's not as hot as it was in the previous days, so we can be thankful for that. It's a little bit right in the middle. Of course, if there's any rain, it will be isolated and scattered over the country, so it shouldn't be too bad today. It should be an all right day, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're going to move into our eye opener this morning, and of course, it's taken from dailyom.com, and it goes like this. The answer to control is practicing surrender. Trying to maintain control in this life is a bit like trying to maintain control on a roller coaster. There is a thrill and a power in simply surrendering to the ride and fully feeling the ups and downs of it, letting the curves take you rather than fighting them. When you go with the ride, accepting what you cannot control, freedom and joy will inevitably arise. As with so many seemingly simple things in life, it is not always easy to let go, even of the things we know we can't control. Most of us feel a great discomfort when the givens of this life, one of which is fact that much of the time we have no control over, happens. Sometimes this awareness comes only when we have a stark encounter with this fact, and all our attempts to be in control are revealed to be unnecessary burdens. We can give in to our fear and anxiety, or we can surrender to this great mystery with courage. When we see people on a roller coaster, we see that there are those with their faces tight with fear, and then there are those that smile broadly carried through the ride on a wave of freedom and joy. This powerful image reminds us that often the only control we have is choosing how we are going to respond to the ride.
I think this eye-opener is a bit conflicting.
Because we're control freaks.
Well, not necessarily because we're control freaks, because when we let go and go with the flow, we're often criticized as being complacent and you're just, going along for the ride. And so because of that, those of us who are purpose-driven, we have a hard time surrendering and letting go and just going along with something. So that's, I think, part of why I'm conflicted with the eye-opener this morning. Because while, yes, it says one thing, in practice and in real-life situations, you're being told something else, that you need to be assertive and you need to be proactive and you need to be there in the moment and what have you. But the truth of the matter is, there are many times when we just want to let go and just, kind of be like a leaf in the stream and allowing the current to take you wherever it wants to take you.
Yeah.
Many times we feel like that, when you're faced with challenges at work, when you're faced with, perhaps obstacles in your personal life and what have you. That feeling of simply wanting to surrender, and then you're reminded, no, I got to get ahead of it and steer it to where I want it to go. So I think that's what's a bit ironic about the eye-opener. But if I were to use the primary message being imparted here, I think there's a sense of release in letting go. Not in a literal sense, but there's that feeling of, wow, I never knew life could be so fun, or this particular experience that I'm faced with could be as enjoyable simply by letting go. It's almost as if though, for argument's sake, you're horseback riding and you let go of the reins and you just go for that wild ride, and then you find it's exhilarating and you find all of these other qualities that you wouldn't have experienced had you continued holding on to the reins.
Isani, I will never go on a roller coaster ride. You'll never find me at Six Flags.
That's an exciting example too, letting go of the rails, right?
I will never, ever, ever do that. But I also will say I too am conflicted because I am an anxious mess, and I have to feel a sense of control, because without it, I feel like everything will fall to pieces. And this is an opportunity. I'm using this platform to say that, yeah, I'm reading this eye-opener, but there's no way that I'm anywhere able to fit into what this is trying to say, because I definitely have issues with letting go and just allowing the chips to fall where they may. I feel the need to always be prepared and over-prepare because of anxiety. And of course, that comes with its own tensions. But I have felt moments of letting go But of course, I have to control my surrounding in doing that too, and
Yeah.
that's a whole other conversation. But I feel like moments where I have felt a sense of release and just letting go of everything that's happening around me was when I put myself in a space of greenery, you know, when I'm nowhere close to the city areas and close to work, you know, or close to everything that's happening. And that's oftentimes when I'm just at home or around a lot of greenery, like I said, and I'm just able to sit in the quiet and take in the nothingness, you know. So I will say I am conflicted too about this very eye opener. I know that there's a sense of control that you can accomplish in surrendering to, but I have not mastered that as yet. So when
Perhaps
I do,
it's
I'll
a
let
challenge
you know.
that we'll both go through.
Yeah. And you know, it looks different for everyone, because in the workplace, as you mentioned, that's a whole other topic. But there are persons that really have that issue with surrendering in many other areas of their lives. So I'll tell you this much, just take the word, not from the messenger though, because yeah. We're gonna move into our show lineup this morning. And of course, we have 3 great topics for you. In our first segment, we'll be joined by representatives from Beltrade to talk to us about the Belize Investment Summit.
Our second conversation will be with the Elections and Boundaries Department as they discuss a transfer period that's taking place.
Yeah, and in our third segment, we'll be joined by representatives from the Central American Junior Championships in Athletics. All right, so we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by representatives from Beltrade to talk about the Belize Investment Summit. Don't go away.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
Hats off to awesome grads and capes on for super dads. Enjoy stunning deals, giveaways, and savings from Cellular World for the dads and grads. Get up to 50% off the Samsung A04e or TCL A30 phones when you buy select phone models, or 50% off the JBL Bluetooth Kids headphones when you buy any tablet. Select purchases comes with free surge protectors, gaming controllers, and wireless chargers. Wow, Dad! And celebrate that grad without breaking the bank. Shop at any of our 5 locations in Belize City, Belmopan, or San Pedro, or via our virtual store on Facebook, Instagram, or WhatsApp at 615-5141. Celebrate Dad and cheer on the grad with an amazing gift from Cellular World.
Hola, usuario de eCash. La aplicación eCash está disponible en español. Cambiar el idioma de tu aplicación de eCash de inglés a español es rápido y sencillo. Déjame mostrarte cómo se hace. Primero, abre tu aplicación eCash. Introduce tu PIN. Toca el icono More en la parte inferior de tu pantalla. Selecciona Security. Selecciona Language. Y luego selecciona Spanish. Vuelve a introducir tu PIN y ya está. Tu aplicación de eCash está ahora en español y puedes seguir disfrutando de tu cartera digital eCash. La aplicación eCash de Belize Bank te hace la vida más fácil.
The
Belize Tourism Board, in collaboration with the Belize City Council and DigiWallet, present the Belize International Music and Food Festival. Savor the Rhythm Pre-Festival Tour, Belize City, Saturday, June 10th from 7 p.m. to midnight at the DigiPark. The Belize International Music and Food Festival Pre-Festival Jam is officially arriving in Belize City. Cash prizes and professional music studio recording session will be awarded. Find out who will be the big winner of the Belize International Music and Food Festival Platinum Ultra Packages. Also, the big Coca-Cola Get Your Magic On reveal at the DigiPark. After party with Tiara Shine and Band. Come sign up for your DigiWallet and get free cash in your DigiWallet. It's the Belize International Music and Food Festival Savor the Rhythm Pre-Festival Tour, Belize City. Sponsors include Smart, Coca-Cola, Belikin, the Belize City Council, Angela's Press, and Travelers Liquors.
Here's your chance. The stage is waiting. We're looking for talented Belizean singers for another season of KTV The Remix. KTV auditions will take place on Saturday, June 3rd and Sunday, June 11th, starting at 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at Channel 5 on Coney Drive in Belize City. We're also now accepting online submissions. 2-minute videos can be emailed to producer at channel5belize.com or DM KTV Remix on Facebook. Deadline, Sunday, June 11th at 5 p.m. Come be a part of the biggest singing competition of the year. KTV The Remix, only on Channel 5.
And welcome back. We have been joined in studio this morning by Dr. Leroy Almendares. He's the Executive Director over at Beltrade, and he's here to discuss with us, among other things, the Belize Investment Summit.
Good
morning, Doc.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, Isani. Good morning. Pleasure meeting you.
How's it going? I know you're a busy man. You're doing all things Beltrade and promoting Belize on that front. What's been going on?
Well, quite a lot. And as you said, promoting Belize. As you know, we're doing our best to continue the recovery from the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
We're not, we're less than 2 years out. And, in terms of the economic recovery and the different strategies and the, really responding honestly to what investors or people are saying, or those who want to do business with Belize.
Yeah.
These are some of the challenges. And so what is Belize doing in order to meet those challenges, to mitigate those things that make us more competitive? And so, we have been looking at legislation. There are new policies that were approved by the cabinet. But in terms of the fiscal incentive, which is a program, and some, really the reference to it sometimes is economic incentive. Because basically what it does, it stimulates business by providing incentives for them to do business, meaning reducing the cost in some way, because you get reduction in terms of duty exemption, excise duties, and things like that. But one of the signature event is our Belize Investment Summit. We tried it, let me not say we tried it, we did it in 2021. And that was still in the height of the pandemic. And now we are on the 2 years later. This is the second version of it, BIS 2, 2023. So that's a big thing for us. We're now in the planning stages. It's going to happen August 30th to September the 1st. And again, it's really to attract foreign direct investment, but also local investment. And I need to emphasize that, because too often there's this saying that, oh, we don't focus on local investment. That's not true. Whatever benefits are afforded to foreign investors, it's the same thing that's afforded to local investors. And so
is it that perhaps from a broader, a global perspective, it would seem as if though more emphasis is being placed on foreign direct investment as opposed to local? Not saying that, there isn't that opportunity. I'm simply saying perhaps one overshadows the other.
Well, actually, they don't. I just believe that I think there's this misconception. Oh, we focus only on the foreign direct investment. But that's not really the case, because, like I said, the landscape that's created benefits all. But the importance of the foreign direct investment is many times you might have local investors who I need an additional push. You know, I have the land, I have the know-how, I have the the location, and I have the idea. But what I need is what I need is funding. And so therefore you have a joining of interest, if you will. Sorry, joining of interest. And so I have the money and I can invest with you through a joint venture. We don't really encourage much mergers and mergers, for example, because what you don't want to do is to create only disadvantages within the environment either.
Yeah.
So there's not so much a focus, because if you look at the fiscal incentive, believe me, the stimulation, the incentives that are in there, and especially now with the inclusion of micro, small and medium enterprises, over 90% of our businesses in Belize are in fact within that sector. And quite a large percentage, over 60%, are micros. So that's the engine of growth, and that's the focus of the government. And so stimulating that and creating those incentives. But as I said, for the BIS, we do want to attract investors from, really from our partner countries. The United States is one of our largest partners. We will have investors coming in, or people coming in from the Caribbean, from Asia, but primarily I'm talking here about Taiwan. Mexico is really, there is always that continued interest with Mexico wanting to do business with Belize. We have a partial scope agreement with Guatemala. So we're doing our best. Like I said, we have created the enabling environment, and the registration is now open. So it's just for those who want to come in. Our interests are still tourism. We're focusing a lot on, and let me just say this, we have segregated our economy into green, blue, and orange. And so even, and many times we want to, some people ask, well, what's green, blue, and orange? We have green entrepreneurship, those who are engaging in renewable energy and everything green, as we do our best to comply with the whole carbon neutrality and climate change and all of that. And of course, the blue economy, we talk of blue entrepreneurship, anything below the water. So we think about things like aquaculture and things like that. And of course, the orange economy, the creative economy.
For artisanship.
Exactly. And too often it's hard to get a definition of what that is. Let me just reference our guest speaker who was confirmed, Ivan Duque Marquez. He was the former president of Colombia. And basically, he cited Winston Churchill, a former Prime Minister of Britain, and he said, the next empire will be an empire of the mind. And when you think about the mind, so anything creative, but they needed to brand it. And in order to brand it, they said, okay, what's the color of fire? And remember, it's a creative fire within you that allows you to generate. I mean, we are so culturally diverse, so think about all the blessings we have. And if we exercise our intellectual capital, there's so much that we can create. We can be original, we can be innovative. And so basically they said, well, the creative needs a branding. And so they branded it, with the color of fire, which is really orange. Because too often you hear, use orange economy, and people, what's that? But that's a part of the whole historical perspective where it's concerned. So if you're not blue or green, you're orange.
I want to look back at the Belize Investment Summit 2021 and compare it to what we can expect for BIS 2 2023. What were the challenges, the successes, and how are you planning to make this year's BIS better than the last?
Well, 2021 to me the biggest challenge was COVID. And so therefore we had to be very, very mindful of the fact that there were still travel restrictions and all of that. But we still had over 350 people present. I mean, businesses, we also had B2B meetings, business to business meetings, because again, that's another trigger. We want to attract, entities like Massey and others we want to bring them into the country. We want to increase. our manufacturing capability. So that was our big challenge, but I must tell you that we overcome that. I mean, we did not have any issues with that. So that's one of the things that, but we had many people tune in virtually. And remember now that if you tune in virtually, when it comes to marketing, advertising, promotion, the best way is word of mouth. So we had to make sure that this first product, because remember, if your first introduction to a market does not sell, does not work, that's it for you.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear about any BIS2. So we had individuals who, while they were online, I mean, and they're hearing about, the other big thing for us is business process outsourcing. I mentioned renewable energy, the diversity within the blue economy, aquaculture, mariculture, all of these different things. And of course, we can't forget agriculture, because when the pandemic hit us and tourism declined, it was agriculture that really...
We relied on.
So that was the trigger for, that was the inducement to really at least create some kind of greater economic activity within the country. So if we were to think about lessons learned, I mean, we have to understand, for example, now, not only capping, because like I said, it exceeded what we had. We had catered for 300. We ended up with over 350. We had great participation from public and private sector. There was great interest created. The mechanisms we use for marketing, because we have to do international marketing. Too often again, sorry, you might hear that if I, sorry folks, if I invest $1 in marketing, some people consider it a waste. That's not true. If it generates interest way beyond that, then it's worth it. So those were the things, and now where we are now, we expect over 500, right? Over 500 individuals. We will still have virtual participation. We will still have the hybrid approach. And so what we're doing now is to ask those who are interested in doing business, in fact, to come out. Really, what's your interest? Come prepared, because you can partner with someone who may have the funding and sometimes even know-how that will allow for, will really allow for those partnerships to be developed. The networking, as I said, is important. So those are some of the lessons learned, but like I said, we were able to overcome those challenges created by the pandemic. At this point in time, we can't use the pandemic anymore.
Yeah.
And so therefore, the expectation is that we will have, like I said, it will be bigger, it will be better, and it will be in San Pedro.
Okay.
Right? We're going back to San Pedro because, when we look at one of the challenges we have in this country is, if I'm holding an event that may need 500 or 1,000 people, or there's no place that can really house them. And so even conference tourism, if someone was to build a conference center that can accommodate that number of people, that would be a good thing. And so these are the kind of things that that's not something you can do overnight. What we need to do is to make sure we can find accommodation, those areas that can accommodate that kind of traffic, because it's not only those coming in. You also have people from the public and private sector and all of that, and so, that's where we are.
Doc, from a practical perspective, I know that being able to facilitate this kind of interaction with outside investors is one thing, but how do we measure the successes of this kind of an event with people actually investing in Belize and starting up businesses? I think people want to know and understand, how does this translate into real activities on the ground?
Well, one of the biggest, because you have to look at results, as you would say, what has been triggered is we have now a lot more interest in terms of name brand hotels in tourism. And so that's a big thing. Remember, we have all these natural advantages that we have to take advantage of without compromising the environment, because you will hear about environmental clearance, you will hear about things like that. So that's one thing we don't do, but you have much more interest there. You have greater interest in aquaculture, non-traditionals as well. I must tell you that there are non-traditional areas such as things like seaweed and coconut, which are things we never used to focus on before. But coconut was always to be the next big thing, you see? And so there's a lot of focus in that areas to develop our export capability, so it means increasing production. And that comes through investment. Because, you know, that's the biggest deterrent, as I have said, that, you know, access to finance.
You know, one of the things that I wanted to go back on was something that you mentioned earlier as it relates to local investors. When we think of the Belize Investment Summit, we think about bigger heads coming in, foreign investors coming in and seeing what they can be a part of as it relates to investing in Belize. How can you encourage local investors, more small businesses, to take part in the Belize Investment Summit?
Well, let's deal with the small ones first. I mean, what we're having also is an expo. You keep hearing about expo. You'd have heard, and I'm sure that, you know, you were a part of the, gave us that presence as well. We recently had a road show.
Yeah.
We had a road show, and it took us to 10 different locations within the country. And the purpose of that was, we go to you. If you try to get a small business to take a day off to go to another location, it's a real challenge because there's a loss of revenue plus a cost. So we went to them, and to encourage them, because one of the things we did was to say, okay, what kind of business you have? Because we didn't know, and the road show means come and show us your business.
Yeah.
Small and medium enterprises make up the largest percentage of those who actually export, especially the medium, not so much the large. And so we're having an expo as well where businesses come out. We're trying to cater at least to 20 where they can come out. And indeed, you would have heard last week, indeed, the chamber had made in Belize. We are focusing on Buy Belizean. But remember now, if you want consumption of anything, it has to meet those standards and quality that people expect.
Yeah.
So we have also set up, we have incubation centers, and I'm just saying this because sometimes even the local businesses just need that additional push. An incubation center really allows, you know, okay, here is my business. Sometimes we don't even know we're a business. In other words, if I make $1 today, I spend $1.10, and I don't know how you do that. Well, I know how you do it. You get 10 cents from somebody else, and then you keep owing. And so we get you to understand you're a business. Here is the business model. Here is to understand how you generate revenue. And if you generate revenue, remember, you still have to pay yourself. You still have to replenish. If you have to replace, those are things you have to do as well.
Yeah.
And so we are also doing that to get our businesses, because what you want, there's an ecosystem that exists, and we want people to migrate. Don't remain a micro. The fiscal incentive says, yes, there are incentives for micro, small, and medium, but you can transition through and grow, and that's one of the things we want to see. Because if you have critical mass and we want to export, you can actually work together, and because exporting is quota-driven, we can actually meet quota to get those things out. So there's so many things, like I said, the policies are in, the strategies are there, and so we expect that more businesses. So when we get this opportunity to do so, small business and micro, small, and medium have to understand you are not taken out from the whole equation. We're focusing on you as well.
Yeah.
All right.
And the idea is to help them to transition and grow their business.
Yes, because we want to see them grow. We want, and if you want to, for example, let us say you're near export.
Yeah.
Beltrade helps you with that. We have an export Belize unit. And we can do all the gap analysis to see where you are, help you to establish standard operating procedures. And when you're ready to invest, we have an Belize Invest unit. We have a training and employment center. We have a small business development center, which is pretty close to where we are right now. And so that's one of the things that we want to do. The other challenge I think we have is informality. A lot of businesses, you don't know where they are, and so therefore it's hard for them to see, for us to see what contributions they're making to the economy. And how do we assist you if we don't know where you are? And let me just make quick reference again to that Fiscal Incentive Act 2023. If you've been operating for over 20 years, it doesn't matter how long, if you decide now to register and become formal, you will not be taxed, because that's one of the things they say, if I formalize, I'll be taxed. No. You have up to July of this year, and if you register, you still get a 1-year business tax exemption. So we have worked this out. We have met even before that bill went through the House, and it's now an act. And those are the things, it's to stimulate. It's not to drive you away. And so the more we have, and because it focuses on investment even in the small and medium and micro. Again, like I said, for example, when BIS 3 should happen, that there are far more businesses ready, they're shovel ready, and all I need is, here's my proposal. I meet with some business from some other region, and here is where we can invest in this country. And as I said, Mexico as well continues to do so. And you will find far more economic activity into the country with the whole intention, the objective, because the government has taken an export-led growth, that we will be exporting at least close to what we import. Because believe me, you report on the figures, we import far more than we export.
And
that's
a
something
huge
we have
disparity.
to continue to bridge, because it is pretty huge. And many times it's the input to the final product on many occasions that we're importing. So if we develop our manufacturing capability, produce more of those inputs, we must, of course, continue to make the adjustment where digital technology is concerned. We cannot escape that fact that we must have the inclusion of technology and up-to-date technology.
I'd like you to stick a pin for a second here and go back to what you were saying. I think part of the challenge for us as producers is that we're not there, perhaps, where it concerns value added, as opposed to simply commodities where we're just producing raw materials or raw ingredients, in a manner of speaking. And I think part of that is what drives our imports way over what we're actually exporting.
Right. The other thing is, and yes, it is true, sometimes we don't have the wherewithal to get it to the final product. So sometimes, like for example, when we were producing oil, for example, the crude, we did not have the refinery to take it to its final stage, which would have probably reduced the consumption of fuel in the country. And so when you have to export that, and our crude was similar to the West Texas crude. In other words, it was high grade. But we did not have the refinery. So it simply meant that we had to go through that process, and then you have importation of fuel, and then we have no control over that. Right? Just like electricity, if we import it from Mexico, if it's indexed to oil, then the volatility that exists in terms of pricing, we have no control over that. So that's what we need to do. And sometimes we're doing these things from a regional perspective. In other words, we harmonize. But again, this is where the summit again allows you that opportunity. For us, like I said, what we have are pipeline projects, renewable energy. We have projects with tourism, we have projects in manufacturing, we have projects now related to the blue economy, in agriculture. Agri-technology is another very big thing, because anything that speeds up or increase greater efficiencies in terms of production of a unit, that makes it much easier. So all of this now is opportunity. Our Belizeans will be there. You will have the foreign direct investor who comes in. They will meet with each other, and what we want to see, if it would possible within the 3 days, that there's some signing off on, okay, we are ready to go. And we continue to provide that kind of support, meaning not only Beltrade, because this is under the office of the Prime Minister. So it's finance, economic development and investment, but we're focusing a lot on the investment perspective. And there's a ministry, you have the Economic Development Council and Beltrade, and all of us are working on this together too, because that's what we want. After September the 1st of this year, we hope that there will be far more interest, because a lot more people who used to ask, there are countries where they used still would ask, where is Belize? Or even what is Belize? That has changed. Because, for example, if you travel through the United States and many countries, you'd be surprised. Oh, you're from Belize? I've ever been there, a family member has been there, or I would like to go there.
Because there's an aggressive campaign
Exactly.
to put Belize on the map through tourism and other products or so.
Exactly. And believe me, we're known worldwide. We're known worldwide. So when you hear about Belize and investment, many people think about the blue hole. Yes, that's one of these value added.
Yeah.
Our barrier reef. The fact that tourism is experiential, it's not only beach. I mean, so there's so many things that we will package here and have the opportunity to discuss over those 3 days.
All right. So when is BIS 2 and how can businesses be a part of it?
Well, it's August 30th to September the 1st, and you can register. We have a website, the investmentsummit.bz. You can become a sponsor, right? Because in the first iteration of it, we didn't have a lot of time to plan. But now, because we expect it to be bigger, and the fact that now this takes your business international.
Yeah.
So we have the usual bronze, gold, platinum sponsorship you can sponsor, and it tells you everything that you can benefit from, you know, if you were to sponsor. Right? I don't know if you have shown it, but these are packages that exist. We have quite a lot of interest already for those who are looking at the packages and wanting to become a sponsor, because like I said, it creates even a greater presence for you as a sponsor for the BIS 2023.
Is there a fee involved being a part of BIS 2?
The fee is minimal. The fee is minimal if you were to register, but if, like I said, the sponsorship is a different thing.
Okay.
If I could just quickly do this. So the bronze is 5,000 to 14,999, and you get mentioned public. There's quite a lot of things. Your logo, you get access to, you know, business opportunity. The silver is 15 to 25. The gold is 25 to 75, and the platinum is 75 to 100,000. And each one of those tells you exactly, you know, what you get. Because, like I said, there'll be a greater presence, and I can tell you, there's a lot of interest. Right? There's a lot of interest, and so we will still be doing some international marketing, but at this point in time, there is a lot of interest for BIS.
Before we wrap up, I'd like to go back to another area that's of interest, and that is the business process outsourcing sector. Belize has become boomtown for BPOs.
Yes.
Everywhere you look, people are working at call centers and so on and so forth. Let's talk a bit about that and how integral perhaps Beltrade has been or continues to be in the growth of this sector.
Well, let me just say this. You remember there was a time when there was one call center, and we used to say call center. No,
where the call, I believe, may have been
but no, you don't say call center because
You
see, that was, and let me just reference it this way, that was the generic definition of, of a BPO. And what is happening now, it's more than just receiving calls and things like that.
Yeah.
The outsourcing that we're getting. You have Think Tech, where, believe me, they're outsourcing programming to Belize. You have legal outsourcing, knowledge outsourcing, you know, administrative assistant outsourcing. And so it has created a diversity within the market in Belize. It allows for diverse training. And not only that, of course it allows, and I'm telling you this, there's an opportunity for upward mobility for those who work at BPOs now, right? And so at this point in time, outside of the government, BPOs employ over 8,000 individuals with 28 operating. And the intention is to grow it to more than 12,000. So at this point, as you said, we are ripe. Even districts that were at one point not considered, because it became very centralized, Belmopan, Belize, but it's expanding now into the other districts, right? We're looking to the south and things like that. And so what we have been doing as Beltrade is to train you.
Yeah.
We had a graduation in Orange Walk last week, where there were those who were trained, and when you're trained, it's not only to work at a BPO, because soft skills create the human being. And so the holistic individual, that's what we're looking at. But yes, that's our contribution. And again, it's a big focus, like I said. And so even with those incentives, there are opportunities now, and we have a continuous interest. So that's a big part of what we want to talk about as well. But the thing that an individual now, you can export your service, meaning it's outsourced to you, that I can program now. So to tell you now how far it has diversified. So because in the past people say, oh, you work at a call center? It's like, it's almost like
You are looked down upon.
You're looked down upon. But no, you can become a programmer. There's this legal outsourcing and so many things that require some high-level skills. And believe me, those individuals, they're individuals in Belize who are generating some serious income.
Yep, they're paid handsomely. There are some
That's
call
the word,
centers
handsomely.
that are
Right.
paying big bucks. And you mentioned something very important, that a lot of these BPOs are offering upward mobility. It's not where you start. There's a lot of people that are able to go up as managers, and as we mentioned, they're paid a lot of money.
I know some of them, I know some of them who started off as agents and now the vice presidents of some of the, the different, some of the, these different BPOs. I may not say call center anymore, but the BPOs, I mean, so it simply tells you, remember, any growth that you undertake has a lot to do with you. Apply yourself, because you just never know who's looking, who's watching. And you can see it here. I mean, believe me, I remember, I think you used to come on now and again, right? I know you're full time.
Yeah.
No, I'm just taking you, and I remember Itzani. I've watched his transition as well. So that's what it's about. Apply yourself, and you can grow. As a matter of fact, I've taught some of these individuals at UB.
Yeah.
That simply tells you they have every interest in developing that capital we've been talking about, so that when the opportunity strikes, they are considered first, that kind of thing. So it's just about being prepared.
A lot of it is owed to creating the enabling environment too. Because for you to nurture talent and skill, you have to be able to create that space.
And it's happening, it is really happening. Our people are going for high level for also, like I said, we're going back to the green economy. That simply means you need engineers and others trained in that area to understand climate change. And this whole thing about greenhouse gases that we didn't have to talk about before. And when you hear about people hear blue economy, there was a confusion. Blue economy is everything that exists under the water, but there's a natural ecosystem that exists under there. And so when you hear about ghost fishing and those kind of things, where you see fish being caught, either with nets around their head because somebody left a piece of a net there. This is the kind of education we need. We need people to become, and that's why that segregation. The government has also established or putting in an industrial policy, which talks about the green, blue, and orange economy. And so you fit somewhere. Find what interests you, and wherever it interests you, keep pushing. But like I said, I mean, the environment has been created. We are ripe for all of this. It's just a matter now for all of us to employ ourselves, because each one of us makes some contribution to this macroeconomic goal that we have.
Yeah. All right. Well, just before we wrap things up again, you can give us the dates for BIS, how you can be a part of it, or if you'd like to sponsor the packages that are available.
Yes, it's August 30th to September the 1st, and it will be in San Pedro. And I encourage businesses, and I'm glad that we focus on that. If you're a local business and you have an idea, something you want to invest in, this is an opportunity, because you will be able to have business-to-business meetings, and there's every possibility that those who come in will also have presence from Saudi Arabia. And believe me, when they talk about investment, it's as well large investment.
Major
right?
investment.
So many times it's 10 million and above. But it creates such an opportunity for networking and for the development of that. And believe me, we'll be there to capturing the data and to see what comes out of it. And our role is really to provide that support to see things materialize.
All right. Well, Well, thank you so much for joining us,
Thank
Doctor,
you.
and we look forward to hearing more about BIS2 2023 and what takes place. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will be joined by representatives of the Elections and Boundaries to talk to us about transfer period. Don't go away.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Fulltech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price but stay for the service.
You know, Bolido been playing in this country for over 70 years now. That before my mind even born, you know. That just goes to show how cemented Bolido is in our culture and daily life. Thankfully, government recently get back for we Bolido, for we the people. So now, a publicly owned entity, Belize Government Lotteries Limited, will have management of the Bolido. And guess what? The profits will support NHI and the official charities fund, you know. That means even more Belizeans will have access to health care, you know, and other support they desperately need. And that all because of this change, you know. I don't know about you, but I love the song of this. For we fun, for we profits, for we Bolido.
With so many different styles of light bulbs, sometimes it's tricky to choose the right one. Whether it's a screw-in, candelabra base, or pins, we have what you need. From lamps to ceiling fans, floodlights or chandeliers, we have bulbs available in cool white, warm white, or daylight. All you have to do is choose. Once you have chosen your bulb, the final choice is technology. LED technology is energy efficient, long-lasting, produces a high-quality light, and saves you money. Choose wisely and let Benny's be your one-stop for lights. Benny's, quality and saving.
Imagine a world where sending and receiving payments between credit unions and banks is fast, safe, and reliable. A Belize, where access to financial services is available to all Belizeans. Well, that future is now. The Central Bank of Belize has taken a big step forward in improving the national payments infrastructure, allowing for greater connectivity. By integrating the Shared Services Network, SSN, a company formed by the Belize Credit Union League to act as an operator of credit unions. SSN has joined banks as a participant in the Automated Payment and Securities Settlement System, or APS. What this means for us is that credit union members and bank customers can now make electronic payments quickly, safely, and securely anywhere in Belize. The flow of payment has never been smoother. The Holy Redeemer, St. Francis Xavier, and St. Martin's credit unions are already connected to the SSN, with more credit unions preparing to join the network. This integration in apps will allow you as a credit union member to make faster payments and empowers credit unions to take charge of their members' payment and settlement services. The Central Bank of Belize is committed to ensuring the continuous development of the national payment system and to facilitate the exchange of money between transacting parties in Belize, connecting credit unions and banks for faster, easier payments. Coming soon, please contact your credit union for more information.
Welcome back. We are having our second conversation for the morning, and we are joined by Brenda Stain, a registering officer at the Elections and Boundaries, and Kimara Card, also a registering officer over at the Elections and Boundaries office. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
All right. So the conversation this morning is all about the transfer period for the Elections and Boundaries. So I suppose we can start with what exactly that is all about.
Okay, the transfer period, first of all, we are governed by the Representation of the People's Act, Chapter 9. You can go on the Google and you can find that act that we use. In section 59.1, it states that elector, if you have moved from one electoral division to another electoral division and you so choose to change to your new address, then you will make an application on Form 17. You visit the Elections and Boundaries office, and if once you have been living there for 2 months, then you can go and apply. Just know that it's only in the month of July and August only. Once that takes place, then there is a process whereby the registering officer will do their investigations, and it will not be that you will be automatically be transferred. It has a process, and we can go into the process, but that's basically the transfer period.
Okay, so 2 months.
Only.
All right. So how does that work for persons that are a part of the redistricting process at this time? Is it the same thing?
Well, right now we are only focusing on the transfer period. So as far as we are concerned, we wanted people to know that next year will be the upcoming municipal election, March.
Yeah.
And this will be the perfect time if they are living at a new address in a new division for them to do the transfer.
All right.
How does your location, where you're residing, impact where you vote and the turnout of the electoral process at that level? I'm asking because, for instance, you have persons who live in Ladyville, but they're registered in Port Loyola, and you know, when election time comes around, it's a hassle to move around people from where they are living perhaps to where they vote.
Because it's not mandatory that you transfer.
Okay.
I mean, we don't know it automatically that you've moved then, unless you come into our office. So when you come into the office, then we know that you moved, then we can transfer you to your new address. If you haven't told us, then you're legally only entitled to vote where you originally registered.
Yes.
So impacting, you said impacting elections?
Yeah. Because I ask in the context of a constituency, for instance, having so many registered voters, but come election day, you find out that persons are coming in from other parts of the country to vote in a particular constituency because they, for whatever reason, may have moved to Corozal, for instance, and never attempted to or never bothered registering or transferring formally to perhaps a constituency in Corozal or what have you.
And that is specifically why we're here, because people know, but maybe they're not aware that it's only July and August that you can come in and transfer to your new location. So we are here to ensure that people recognize that it's important for you to transfer. It's important for you to have your accurate address to where you live. It's even convenient, because if you live in Corozal, why would you want to travel to Belize when you can just transfer your location to where you are, and then you can vote in Corozal.
Also, you have to note that it's the elector, it is his or her choice if they want to do a transfer. And it could be that the person has the reason why they were registered. Maybe they were registered in a certain division at that time. So it only costs them on election day. On election day, like you rightly said, it costs them, because then if they're registered in Belmopan and they've been living in Corozal, it onus will be on them to go. Because remember, when we're doing election, the only person that work for election days vote by proxy.
Yeah.
They aren't allowed to vote by proxy, so they franchise themselves. And then sometimes we have some employer that doesn't want to give them the time off to go and vote. So, like what Ms. Card said, it would be best for them to come into the new division and apply for a transfer.
Wouldn't you have, okay, maybe this is a gray area for me here. You're employed, your boss refuses you from going to vote. They can't do that, right? I mean, you should, by law you're allowed to.
They're allowed to go and vote, yes, sir.
And it shouldn't matter, in theory, how long the lines are, right? Once you're there to vote, you stand in line and you wait your turn.
However long it takes.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't.
You know, I'm thinking about the transfer process and the conversation that's always attached to that, and that is corruption and, you know, persons that are moving to different divisions to vote for a particular person, right? When you're applying,
that's more along the lines of gerrymandering.
No.
Right? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go
but
ahead.
when you're
Try to break this
applying for a transfer, do you have to prove your address that you are staying at?
We do investigation. We investigate every address, whether it's transfer or a regular application to register to vote. We investigate every application, which means if you come in and you say you live at 4429 Peter Seco Street, we take that down as the address that you give us, and then we physically go to that address. We consult with neighbors if you're not home, or if there's someone home, maybe you're renting and there's a chief occupant there, or there's the landlord, as we call them, that can verify that you do live at that address. So yes, if you want to, you can bring maybe a receipt, a bill or something to state that you do reside at that address, but ultimately the onus is on us to investigate your address that you give.
I would presume that that's a very tough, I mean, to be able, I presume that you're working on specific human resources, right? Manpower. So
and time consuming too.
So to be out there in the field, you know, to go and verify each person's location and address it's got to be a tough job.
It is. Especially this year will be a very tough year for elections among the staff.
Yeah.
Like I said, especially for the offices that has cities and towns, they'll be impacted a lot because, for example, Belize City, all of Belize City constituency will be going to municipal elections.
Yeah.
Where I work at Belize Rural, North and Central. If you notice, last year we had village council elections. What may take place for me would be people who still might be doing transfer, but it won't be as much as my officer that have 4 divisions. She has 4 divisions. She is the person responsible for the north side office, so she might have far more work than me, you know.
Yeah.
So, and the resources human resources is very, very little.
I still go back to my question because I don't remember what exactly you said when it comes to redistricting, where your division automatically changes. Do you have to go and transfer in that?
At this point, redistricting is not at our office levels as yet. It's
No, it hasn't reached there as yet.
It hasn't reached there as
But
yet.
I can tell you what took place in 2005 because I was there. When we did redistricting, it's the registering officer. After everything has been through the National Assembly and so forth, then the registering officer have to get your files, your record card, and then send it over to the new office. Then you know there is a new register that is produced. Then you know that, okay, this is now a new division. For example, let me give you, it is polling area 13. Polling area 13 used to be Queen Square one spell, and now it's now Mesopotamia. And all those people, because, you know, people don't focus on the news. When it was time for them to vote, they're like, why are we in this division? We have always been voting for Queen Square and so forth. So I think when we do get into the session for redistricting, we will be coming back on your show, and we'll definitely be explaining more
That'll
to
be
the
a
people.
lot more work for you guys as
yes,
well.
It will.
Well, at this point, what we're looking at is the possibility that there will be 2 more constituencies added to the 31, so we're looking at 33.
I do
we're
not
looking
know
at
about
removing at least 1 or so from
I do not
Belize
know
district.
about that. I'm sorry, I do not know about that. But
that's
anyways,
that's what is being fielded. So
yeah, I
you
don't
have
know
work.
about that.
Not,
all right. So yeah, you were going to say?
No, I'm just listening to what he's saying. But,
well, let's go back to the application for the transfer process. We know that it's 2 months. So without it, you have to vote at the address that was
that you've previously registered, right?
Registered under. Where do we get the application, or how do we
come into the office?
Okay.
It's not a physical application. It's not an application for you to fill. It's an application for us to fill.
Okay.
So you come into the office with an ID. It doesn't have to be the election and boundaries or the voter's ID that we issue. It can be a passport, a social security, a driver's license, just to verify that it's you. And then we take your information down and we fill it out, take a picture, you sign, and we investigate. The process takes sometimes, it depends on when you come in, but more or less a month.
Okay. All right, and after that, it's automatic, you're set?
If we are satisfied that the location that you give us is accurate, the information that you give us is accurate, then yes. If not, then there's a process where we disallow the application and you remain where you are. You get a letter in the mail stating the reason we've disallowed.
Okay.
Also,
sorry, go ahead.
You have to remember that every 25th of the month there's a period for objections. That's for people that is registered in the division to do an objection for the person on the list. So if that process is after the 25th and nobody name was objected in that division, then the person would have been a new voter in that division.
What are the factors that determine when and if someone is disallowed via this process?
Like, for instance, if you give us an address and we go to the address and it's an empty lot, or you give us an address and we go to the address and nobody can verify you there, or we visit 3 times to locate you and you have not responded to calls, you have not answered your door, there is no indication that you live there, then we have to disallow after the 3rd visit.
I want to talk about new voters as well. I'll use this opportunity to touch on persons that will be voting for the first time. What is that process like to make sure that you have your voter's ID or to be a part of this process?
Okay, like you rightfully said, you need to be 18 years old, be a Belizean either by birth, nationality, or also Commonwealth. If you notice, we have Commonwealth countries too. They have to be living here for at least 1 year. You visit the registration office with your original document. Of course, that will be your birth paper, nationality, adoption certificate. You can use a deed book. You know, some people had changed their name, their passport, and you visit the office. We take a new picture with you. We have the vetting process of going and doing an investigation, a physical investigation of you also to ensure that you're indeed living there. 15th of the month, we publish your name on a supplementary list. After the 25th, if no one objects to the list, it also goes to the court at the end of the month. And then we have the revising officer, who is the chief magistrate, that will sign off that these are the qualified electors. And we do a revise list, then you automatically become a voter. We give you a time span when you come and pick up back your ID card. So you can come back to the office and pick up your ID card. And I will use this opportunity to also state that we want our electors who have registered since 2018 to visit the office to pick up their ID cards, because we still have a lot of ID cards there.
I'll tell you, I might be on that list.
Okay, so we are telling you that you can come and pick up your ID card.
I might be on that list.
Come get your card. To add to what Ms. Brendan says, the process is not a long process.
Yeah.
If you're a you want to be a new elector, a new applicant,
new voter, yeah.
You're just applying, then it's just 15 to 20 minutes per person. So if there's nobody there, you're in and out in just minutes. It's not a long process. It's free. So come in. If you're 18, you've lived at the address for 2 months or more, come in and apply. Get your voter's ID.
I would like just to state and add on to what Ms. Card is saying is that don't wait to hear a deadline. For example, when you know they will say there's a deadline, then people remember, oh my, I didn't visit election and boundaries. And I use this example, and I was telling people that when I was in Dangrega working, it was just before the general election. It was in September. And I can recall this lady was in the line from 3 o'clock. We didn't tend to her until 11:15 p.m. in the night. Wow. So our department is not like other departments. Like if we work between our lunch hour, we just want the people to know we are open between our lunch hour. And even if there is like 5 o'clock and there is 5-10 people at our office, we still have to attend those people. And worse, when it's a cut-off period, we still have to attend. If it's 10 people, if it's 20 people, if it's 30 people, we have to ensure that those people are in, because we don't want to defranchise anyone from their rights to vote.
It's just that in Belize, we always wait for the last minute.
Right.
So
and I really don't know why. I really don't know why people would do that to themselves. I mean, imagine you in a line from 3 till after 11 just for you to get entrenches.
Because you just remember that the deadline is tomorrow and you need to vote.
And the thing is,
so
we
then-
open every day. Our offices are open every day, countrywide. Countrywide, we are open, so it's not to say that our office is closed a day or two. And sometimes we even go to the section of open on a Saturday. And that's the worst part, is that you'll be calling the offices and asking how much application you have. Sometimes it's only 2 persons actually take out the opportunity to come and register on a Saturday. And then when it's this crowd of people, they will be saying, how comes you guys didn't open? We were open. It was on the news. It was in whatever way we could have sent it to you, and you still didn't come. So why are you telling us this now? You know, we're going to advise people that please come out and get registered. Please come out and get transfer.
Please pick up your
ID card.
Okay.
I would have thought that, you know, after a certain period has elapsed and persons don't come in to pick up their ID cards and that.
No, because you have to remember, by law, everyone has to pick up their ID card personally. You have to personally pick up your ID card. You cannot send an authority. Our department, and it's governed in our Representation of People Act, that you have to pick up your ID card personally. So that's one of the reasons why we have a lot of ID cards on hand. And even when we go out and do outreach, to do delivery, people still don't respond.
I was at home. I'm kidding. So let's talk about the different locations that you can, go to do the transfer.
If you're in the city, there is the Ladyville office that does Belize Rural North and Central.
Located at the New Airport Plaza. Our phone number is 225-4684.
For the north side, we're at 12 Douglas Jones Street, recently moved. People would remember that we were at Lumberyard Crescent, that's behind the Atlantic Bank. We're no longer there. We're on 12 Douglas Jones Street, where Neres used to be. I'm responsible for Freetown, Fort George, Caribbean Shores, and Pickstock area. Then there's the cemetery office, that's upstairs, First Choice Pharmacy. They're responsible for Lakey, Messup, and Colette.
And you have to go to the location
where you reside, right?
And then we have the
Euphrates
office. That's responsible for Queen's Square, Alberts, and Port, opposite Queen's Anglican School, the Anglican School. And then we have, being that we're talking about that now, we have 4 offices that have a new location. We have the Cayo Central Office. It was located at 123 Judge Price Avenue. It has moved to 7 Salazar Street. The lane in front of Love Tongue. I don't know where Love Tongue is, but it's the lane in front of Love Tongue. And then we have the Cayo North and the Cayo North East office. They were located at 28 West Street. Their new location is 3226 Bullet Tree Road in front of 28 Supermarket. We also have, she already stated her office, so she was one of the offices that was affected. And we have our main office, the central office that was behind the complex at Charles Bartlett Hyde. They are now located at the Old Lands building, ground floor. And the Belmopan and Cayo South office that was behind Angelo's Press, they have moved to the same building where our main office is, but the entrance would be the police station.
From the police station.
From the police station, that would be the entrance.
As it relates to all the address changes for the elections and boundaries, are they accessible online where persons can find out?
It's on our Facebook page and it's on our website.
Okay. And you guys have phone numbers that we can contact as well to get information?
Also on there, yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, on our Facebook.
Everything else remains intact in the other districts?
Yes, it is. Yes, everything. We have an office in Dangriga. We have a sub-office in Independence that serves Toledo district also, because we have some villages that is closer there. We have an office in Punta Gorda. We have an office in San Pedro. We have one in Corozal, 2 in Orange Walk. We have one in Santa Elena, one in Benque, one in San Ignacio. And we have 4 in Belize district alone. And I didn't think I missed any, did I?
Didn't.
Okay, that's the amount of offices we have, and we open every day to the public.
San Pedro serves Kikaka as well.
Yes, as well.
All right. Well, do you guys have any last information that you'd like to share as it relates to transfers or anything happening at the elections and boundaries that the public need to know?
We'd just like to remind them that July and August are the months for transfer every year. And this year is no different. From the 1st of July to the 31st of August, please come in and transfer. We also do ongoing registration, so every day of the year we do, not Saturdays and Sundays, but working.
Unless
we say business days, we're there, come in and register. Pick up your IDs.
Well, I would just like to inform the general public about false statement. No, you know,
Okay.
it's an offense to come into the office and give us a false statement. You can be fined. You can be fined $1,000, and you can spend even up to 2 years if you're fined with those false statements. And also for the chief occupant to furnish information when we go on the premises. Also, and for those people who decide that they want to do a false objection, there is also a penalty of $500, or you could spend up to a year in jail also. So we just want them to know that also.
All right. And just again, when it comes to the information to transfer, just to remind the public that they have to go to the elections and boundaries, the specific locations that their address resides at to do that.
Right.
The time frame is 2 months, and without it, you will be voting at your
Old
old
address, yes.
address as
Yes,
well.
ma'am. Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. And the process only takes about a month, you said?
No, what happened is that
to be officially on the list.
From the 1st of July to the 10th of July is our first cutoff. So then you have the 15th supplementary. Then you have from the 11th of August to the 10th of August, and be the second supplementary will be published on the 15th of August. Then you have the 16th to the 31st. Those will come on the September supplementary. So your last day is the 31st of August. Okay, so then you will be placed on the September supplement. But 1st of September, you cannot walk into our office and apply for an application to do a transfer because the period has already ended.
Finito.
Yes.
All right. Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate the information. Voters, get your IDs, myself included, and transfer if you have changed your address. It's absolutely important. We don't want anyone to go to elections and boundaries and they rail up about why they can't vote at the constituency that they thought they lived in. Of course, they have mentioned that the redistricting exercise that's taking place does not affect this process at this particular time. It's only if you have moved from your from your previous address to a different location. That's the only case where the transfer process is applied.
Right.
Nothing else. We didn't miss anything, right?
Did we miss anything, Ms. Card?
We could emphasize the 2 months that you have to be at the new location. I don't know if we emphasize
Yes.
that enough. You have to be at the new location 2 months minimum.
All right.
To be transferred.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining us. We appreciate the information, and we hope that our viewers take heed to the information because it impacts us all.
It does.
Yes. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we will be joined by the Central American Junior Championship members. Don't go away.
Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "For we are laborers together with God." The secret to living in a successful society is learning to link your life up with others. Once a famous organist was to give several concerts using an old-fashioned pump organ. The bellows of the organ had to be pumped by hand, so the organist hired a young boy to stand behind the organ and pump while he played. After the first concert, the boy said to the organist, "We played good tonight." "What do you mean, we?" "I was the one who played, not you," replied the organist. When the organist sat down to begin the next concert, no sound came out of the organ. It suddenly dawned on him that there was no air in the bellows. The organist whispered to the boy behind the organ, "Pump." The boy responded in a whisper, "Say we." When you find a great church, a great school, a great country, a great athletic team, a great band, you will discover that it is not just because of its leader, but because of the people behind the leader who have learned the secret of cooperation. Link your life to others, and most importantly to Jesus Christ, who wants your life to have purpose. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
Hello eCash user, the eCash app is now available in Spanish. Changing the language in your eCash app from English to Spanish is quick and easy. Let me walk you through the steps. First, open your eCash app. Enter your PIN. Tap the More icon at the bottom of your screen. Choose Security. Select Language. Tap on Spanish. Then re-enter your PIN. And that's it! Your eCash app is now in Spanish, and you can continue to enjoy your eCash digital wallet. Belize Bank's eCash app makes life easier.
I had a black dog. His name was Depression. Whenever the black dog made an appearance, I felt empty and life just seemed to slow down. He could surprise me with a visit for no reason or occasion. The black dog made me look and feel older than my years. When the rest of the world seemed to be enjoying life, I could only see it through the black dog. Activities that usually brought me pleasure suddenly ceased to. He liked to ruin my appetite. He chewed up my memory and my ability to concentrate. Doing anything or going anywhere with the black dog required superhuman strength. At social occasions, he'd sniff out what confidence I had and chase it away. My biggest fear was being found out. I worried that people would judge me. Because of the shame and stigma of the black dog, I was constantly worried that I'd be found out. So I invested vast amounts of energy into covering him up. Keeping up an emotional lie is exhausting. Black dog could make me think and say negative things. He could make me irritable and difficult to be around. He would take my love and bury my intimacy. He loved nothing more than to wake me up with highly repetitive and negative thinking. He also liked to remind me how exhausted I was going to be the next day. Having a black dog in your life isn't so much about feeling a bit down, sad or blue. At its worst, it's about being devoid of feeling altogether. As I got older, the black dog got bigger and he started hanging around all the time. I'd chase him off with whatever I thought might send him running. But more often than not, he'd come out on top. Going down became easier than getting up again. So I became rather good at self-medication, which never really helped. Eventually, I felt totally isolated from everything and everyone. The black dog had finally succeeded in hijacking my life. When you lose all joy in life, you can begin to question what the point of it is. Thankfully, this was the time that I sought professional help. This was my first step towards recovery and a major turning point in my life. I learned that it doesn't matter who you are, the black dog affects millions and millions of people. It is an equal opportunity mongrel. I also learned that there was no silver bullet or magic pill. Medication can help some, and others might need a different approach altogether. I also learned that being emotionally genuine and authentic to those who are close to you can be an absolute game changer. Most importantly, I learnt not to be afraid of the black dog, and I taught him a few new tricks of my own. The more tired and stressed you are, the louder he barks, so it's important to learn how to quiet your mind. It's been clinically proven that regular exercise can be as effective for treating mild to moderate depression as antidepressants, so go for a walk or a run and leave the mutt behind. Keep a mood journal. Getting your thoughts on paper can be cathartic and often insightful. Also keep track of the things that you have to be grateful for. The most important thing to remember is that no matter how bad it gets, if you take the right steps, talk to the right people, black dog days can and will pass. I wouldn't say that I'm grateful for the black dog, but he's been an incredible teacher. He forced me to reevaluate and simplify my life. I learnt that rather than running away from my problems, it's better to embrace them. The black dog may always be part of my life, that he'll never be the beast that he was. We have an understanding. I've learned through knowledge, patience, discipline and humour, the worst black dog can be made to heel. If you're in difficulty, never be afraid to ask for help. There is absolutely no shame in doing so. The only shame is missing out on life.
Here's your chance. The stage is waiting. We're looking for talented Belizean singers for another season of KTV The Remix. KTV auditions will take place on Saturday, June 3rd and Sunday, June 11th, starting at 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at Channel 5 on Coney Drive in Belize City. We're also now accepting online submissions. 2-minute videos can be emailed to producer at channel5belize.com or DM KTV Remix on Facebook. Deadline, Sunday, June 11th at 5 p.m. Come be a part of the biggest singing competition of the year. KTV The Remix, only on Channel 5.
We will never give up the fight. Feel the temperature rise, souls intensify. It's time that we realize that we must work together to thrive. The world as we know it, the sky and below it. Could I never have more wonder? Yeah, with life and all you see and the climate's changing, but hope is remaining. And we can't ignore the future. It depends on you and me. Caribbean sea, it's a part of me. We're all in this together, even if we are apart. Moon and all the swan, tú le mundo son. We're all in this together, no son, Caribbean. One chance, all that we got. One voice, together we start. Take care, the world where we live. Permite a todos vivir. Tomamos la oportunidad para guardar la humanidad. And I must leave no one behind because we are one climate, one Caribbean. One climate, one Caribbean. Nous en dépendons tous, notre planète Terre. Je n'ai pas imaginé un jour un monde sans vie. We're never losing, as long as we're moving
Towards a better future, it belongs to you and me.
Let's be persistent,
We'll be resilient.
we're all in this together, even if we are apart. Y todos sabemos que todo lo que hacemos, we're all in this together, afecta nuestro mundo. One chance, all that we got. One voice, together we start. Take care, the world where we live. Permite a todos vivir. Tomamos la oportunidad para guardar la humanidad. And I must leave no one behind because we are one climate, one Caribbean. One climate, one Caribbean. The world as we know it, the sky and below it. Could I never have more wonder? Yeah, with life and all you see now everything's changing,
but hope is remaining.
And we can't ignore the future. It depends on you and me. Yeah. One chance, all that we got. One voice, together we start. Take care, the world where we live. Permite a todos vivir. Tomamos la oportunidad para guardar la humanidad. And I must leave no one behind because we are one chance, all that we got. One voice, together we start. Take care, the world where we live. Permite a todos
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. Can you produce your driver's license, please? Sure, no problem. Okay, Mr. Vernon, it's valid. Yep. Mr. Vernon, did you know your insurance will be up tomorrow? Oh, really? Make sure you try to update your policy, please.
Thanks so much for the heads up. Babe, can you please renew my policy?
We know that you get caught up in life sometimes, which is why RF&G Insurance makes renewing your insurance policy easy with WhatsApp. Just WhatsApp the words "Get Started" to 670-8700. We will prompt you to select the service you are interested in, select the service, and answer a few simple questions. An RF&G representative will process your request and follow up with you when your transaction is completed. It's that easy. Use WhatsApp and skip the lines. Remember, it pays to get it right with RF&G Insurance, a Road Group company.
What did you mean earlier about climate change, Mom?
Well, when I was your age, I remember beautiful coral reefs and healthy beaches. The summers weren't as hot as they are right now, and the rainy season meant that it only rained when it was supposed to.
And then what happened?
The weather just started to change, and storms got worse. Coral reefs started to die because the ocean was getting too warm, and crops started to die because there was not much rain. You know, we realized as adults that we were doing something that was causing this.
What were you all doing?
The same thing we're doing now. Not using clean, renewable energy, chopping down too many trees, and even polluting the air with gases, such as the gases emitted from our cars when we drive around.
We need to help before it's too late, Mom. We can't let it get worse.
What can I do?
We can raise our voices.
With 35 million dreams, aspirations, and futures at risk in Cari Forum, we need your voice in our story against climate change. Acknowledge, commit, act. This message is brought to you by the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center under the Intra-ACP Global Climate Change Alliance Plus program and is funded by the European Union.
My lights, yeah. Go to my lights, go to my lights. You gotta go to my lights, yeah. I wanna shine, 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 shine. I hit my lights cause that's my plan, 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 plan. My lights have your favorite brand, 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 brand. Just come with nothing in your hands, 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 hands. My lights, and it goes on and on and on. It goes on and on and on, yeah. I wanna celebrate with my lights, sing yeah, yo, baby, let's go. My lights, I wanna celebrate with my lights, sing yeah, yo, baby, let's go. We going to the store, but we gon' do right. We gon' light a life, only with my light. We going to the store, but we gon' do right. We gon' light a life, only with my light.
Ray, what's wrong? It's him. He hit me again. Oh my gosh. This time it was worse. He slammed my face in the wall and threatened to kill me. If you or someone you know is experiencing family violence, call 0800 A Way Out. Or you can text or WhatsApp to 672-9628.
Do you have information about a crime or a fugitive in our community? You can submit a tip anonymously with your smartphone. Using this program in safeguarding our community also protects your identity, keeping you out of the court system, and could earn you a cash reward. Here is how it works. Download the free P3 Tips app from the Apple Store or Android Market. P3 is the provider of our secure anonymous tip collecting software. Open the app and create a PIN, but be sure to remember that number, then select your location. Next, select the type of crime. When submitting a tip, be as specific as possible. If you have a picture, video, or audio that will help officers, you can upload them from your phone. Information leading to an arrest can earn you a cash reward of up to $1,000. Once your tip is submitted, you'll be given a tip ID and password. Check back if your tip leads to an arrest. You'll be told how much you were rewarded and how to anonymously collect your cash.
My Social Security. Your direct online access to all your Social Security information. 360 view of all your Social Security information. Registration services, benefits, contributions, and employer services at your fingertips. Enjoy all the new features with your My Social Security account. Register with SSB. Submission of benefit claims. Submission of contribution statements. View contribution record. Enjoy all your My Social Security feature at ssbportal.org.bz. Social Security at your fingertips.
My parents always said, when it's time to build, invest in quality products that last a lifetime, even if it means paying a little more. It is now my turn to invest in my own home, and it's not even a question. It has to be Oran Windows. My contractor recommends Oran because of the heavy-duty construction, the thickest gauge blades on the market, and the dual locks that allow lower louvers to close independently for privacy while the top remains open for airflow. These features make Oran aluminum louver windows the best on the market.
With Oran aluminum louver windows, you get strength, durability, and beauty with an added layer of security and protection against debris and damaging winds. Come in and check out the variety of sizes and colors at Design Depot, located at Mile 3 Philip Goldson Highway in Belize City.
And welcome back. Our final segment this morning is with Shelmadine Carr. She's a coach of the Central American Junior Championship team. Good morning.
Good morning.
And we are also joined by Kimar Wagner. He's an athlete with the Central American Junior Championship team. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So it's a bittersweet time for you guys.
Yes, sir.
I know that while you performed well in Guatemala recently, and you medaled in various aspects of track and field and other sports, you've lost Harrison Pilgrim, who was en route to meet up with you guys there. Let's talk about that experience first of all, and perhaps what it was like learning of this accident in Guatemala.
I heard about it on the way to Guatemala. So when I got the call, we were where our accident was, so I thought it was that. We didn't want the kids to know. So me and two parents, we get out the bus and we walk like at least half mile to see if it was him. But when we got there, it was not him, so we get back in the vehicle because we didn't know which part the accident was. But it wasn't a nice feeling to hear about that.
Did it impact the morale of the team? I know you did well, but...
The children didn't know, but we, the coaches and the parents, we knew, and it was heavy on us.
How were you able to keep it together then? Because while the athletes did not know, you guys were still responsible for them and of course their overall performance.
Honestly, we just had to tuck it in and do what we're going to do, which was focus on the kids getting their job done to perform. at the best they could. That's why we didn't tell them until the competition done, because we didn't want it to affect their performance.
So let's switch over to Kimar now. We'll go back to Harry afterwards, but let's switch over to Kimar and of course the performance during these games. What was the experience like for you?
It was a very good experience. It was kind of hard a little bit because it was my first experience outside of Belize running. I enjoyed it, but also it was tiring after you finish your races. And it seems very easy looking at it, but doing it, it's not.
Yeah. So what was the preparation like for you, physically and mentally, to shape your mind and your body to participate?
Well, first thing I do is look at myself. I was wearing a Belize jersey, so first thing I said to myself, it's not me I'm representing, it's my country. So all I got to do is try to do good so that my country looks good.
How long have you been doing track and field?
Well, recently I just started because I was running for my school. I ran school marathon, came in first, 2 years back to back. So my coach and my teacher, they come to me and they were like, high school track and field is coming up. What are you going to do? So I was like, sir, I only play football. I cannot do that. I was very nervous because I always say, when running inside of the lane, I'm afraid I run out of one lane and get disqualified. So my teacher was like, you could do this, man, you got this. So I said, okay then, sir, just put down my name. So he signed me up to do a 400 meter, a 1500 meter, a 5K. I did all of them, came in first for Central. I then went to Nationals, came in first in the 5K, first in the 1500. I came in third in the 400, and they put me in a 4x4, I think, relay, and I came in third. Then my coach got to me and she was like, you got selected to go represent your country. I was very shocked at first, but then I realized, man, this is a big break for me. I then went to Guatemala, and when I reached here, I was like, this looked very easy. I could do this, man. And then I got sick, so I was like, how I do this now? But I still managed to do my race there. I come in second in a 400 meter, fourth in a 800 meter, I came in sixth in the 1500 meter, and came in third in the 400 medley relay.
And this is against all these other kids from across the region?
Yes, sir.
How does that feel, knowing that this wasn't even a sport that you thought about venturing into? You said that you loved football before, and now you are representing the country against several other athletes in the region as well.
Oh, well, like I said, it was an experience.
Yeah.
Get to explore and do something I think I never may do.
Yeah. How do you feel now about the sport? Is this something that you would like to further immerse yourself into and develop yourself more?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's switch over back to you in terms of working with these young athletes and pretty much molding them, shaping them into the performers that you want them to be.
I could recall after National, Kimar came to me. I was on the track working with some athletes. He said, Miss, how I could train it you? You have a peer or something? I tell her, no, you just need to show up. And from that day, he showed up 5:30 in the morning. We are already up in the evening, 3:30, 4, all depends on what we do. We always up. So for work with the kids there, once I come out, my passion, the love track, love to see my Belizean, the kids there molding to make them become something. Sometimes they just need a little outlet. When you get kids in a sports, sometimes they stray away from the league. things where they happen out there. Every day they got something to focus on. All right, I have to work out today. I have to do this today. So they end up they go. That's my passion. I just love it. I love to see the improvement every day. Every day the improvement. Sometimes they're tired, but I tell them just push. Hard work out and pain in. Hard work out and pain. So me say I want to vomit. That good, vomit. That good.
Yeah.
Get back.
Yeah, vomit and come back. Check.
Yeah.
So that's something I love. I love to see it. I love when the kids they come out of work. I work with anybody, everybody. Once you come out there, we are work. And not only me one day out there, we have Mr. Evans, we also work. We have Mr. Evans, where they out there Sunday to Sunday. So that's something that we love.
What's the feeling like for you as a coach, seeing your team perform so well? Like that feeling of satisfaction or achievement that you have?
By chest side and chest side, proud. But like my babies, my kids, that's how I feel. Check? Especially when they hear your anthem, this play.
Yeah, I could
right?
imagine.
All right.
There's a family that you create
Yes.
in sports. You know, you're able to have brothers and sisters. These are people that you meet as early as 5:30 in the morning, as you
Yes,
mentioned.
ma'am.
So it takes commitment.
Yeah, we have well, the one day we go in the morning, we have a chat group. We know what time, we send in the chat group, what will be the workout for today, things like that. We got there when, all right, the kids then get together, then go in a pool, or then go and go do karaoke at the house, or things like just stay together. We not only go work out with our family, we have activities together. That's how I keep my group.
So what's next now that we are back with medals and we see what we have done and we've even broken records? What's next?
The job not done. Training continue. More goals to fulfill. Not done.
Yeah.
What's next for you, Kimar?
Well,
Full-time athlete now, or?
I'm graduating from high school today, from West College.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
After graduation, I have the University of Belize to attend. I play football, like I mentioned. I gotta continue track, because this silver and gold, they gotta change. Name the silver and bronze, they gotta change. We need more goals.
Yeah.
I like your optimism, your energy. That's good.
Well, we want to thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. Do you have any last words as it relates to persons that may be interested in track or don't even know that they're good at it?
One more person I want to big up to is Mr. Greg Myers. He is a coach that stationed in the United States, and he came along with us, with the foreign athletes, and they did pretty good. They made us really, really, really proud. We were proud of them. So I want to big up Mr. Myers, and anybody could come out there and work with we. We not show nobody way. As long as you want to track, you want to, we not only we do field events, which is throwing. If you can run, you could come out there, maybe you could become a shot putter, one discus thrower, one javelin thrower. We do there, even hammer. Even hammer. Because we have a young lady, when they, Mia Sylvester, she threw the hammer for the first time this year, and she came in second. She got a silver medal. She got a silver medal.
Where are you guys based?
Right at the Maran Jones. Right at the Maran Jones.
All right. If they would like to get in contact with you, do you have a phone number that you give out?
Yes, ma'am.
You could
Yes, ma'am. 631-3362.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. We appreciate all the information, and congratulations to you for graduating as well.
Oh, before we leave, I just wanted to show this. This is the Youth 23 female. We got third place in it.
23 female.
Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, we're going to wrap things up on set, and we want to say thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. We had 3 great conversations, starting things off with the Belize Investment Summit, and then over to transferring with the elections and boundaries, and of course closing things off with some champions we have here with us. We had the Central American Junior Championship athletes. We want to say thank you to the coach, also to the representation that was out there in Guatemala. If you have any questions or concerns, you can send us an email at oie@channel5belize.com. We also have our Facebook page at Open Your Eyes BZ and Instagram for behind-the-scenes content at OYE Belize. Thank you so much for joining us, and please join us again tomorrow as you open your eyes
To start your morning right.
Until then, keep your eyes, your mind,
And your heart's open.
have a great Wednesday.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.